I'm about to show you what other companies charge $300 a month for. Let's get into it. First thing we're going to talk about is this spreadsheet, and I'm going to show you how it works. And this is going to help you determine how much you should be charging for each labor or employee you have, how much you can charge for your equipment, and making sure you're recouping your overhead, whether you're a seasonal company or work year round. So let's get into it. Right here, this is pretty self-explanatory. Owner, salary, equipment recovery, which basically it's a lot to get into, but basically this is a line item to help you recover these equipment costs over a 3 to 5 year period. Area for marketing line items, shop rent, insurance, so on and so forth. So let's get into it. Owner, let's say his salary is, let's do $6,000 per month. Salary employee, maybe $4,000 per month. That's about $25 an hour. So, you're getting started, might not be able to afford them as much yet. Let's say you got a dingo piece of equipment that you're paying about $700 a month. And maybe a trailer that you own, but you still want to charge for it and get some money back. So let's just put in $100 for a dump trailer. So you see how this over here automatically fills out for the year column. You got your monthly pricing, and then your year column. Let's say, and then you got one truck, and let's put in, we'll say another $100 for that truck. It might be paid off, but you still want to recoup that cost. You'll see here, these three have added up to $900. So you're charging for them for once to actually what they pay. And then this is what we would say equipment recovery. So you could purchase these in 3 to 5 years. And in theory, you would have this money set aside to replace this set of equipment, again, in that 3 to 5 year time period. So services, this could be like marketing, an accountant. Well, accountant's down here because that's almost required. At least for me, it's required, and that's why I have this here in red. These here in red are pretty much non-negotiables. They are pretty consistent, unlike marketing where you might ramp it up during the spring and dial it down in the off season. But back to it. Marketing, let's say you have a $1,000 monthly budget for whatever marketing. It's a little small, but you're still getting started out. So $1,000 for marketing, and we'll do maybe another $200 for miscellaneous marketing, whether that's some mailers or some uniforms or something like that, something promotional oriented. Shop rent, you could be small enough where you're still kind of running out of your house, or maybe you're renting a space that is, say, $400 a month. Put that in there. Insurance could be $200 a month, depending on what you got. Website, if you got one, those can average out to $100 a month or $300 or more, depending on if you have a service or a company running and operating that for you. So we'll put $150 to kind of meet in the middle. Phone, you gotta put your phone bill in there, write that off as an expense. Mine is $180 per month, so that's what we'll do. I got 2 phones, personal and business. Well, we'll say both business. Licensing for trucks, equipment, whatever that is, contractor license. Usually these are one-time fees, but you can break that up over a month. So yeah, licensing, we'll put in, say, $20 for now. $20. Might be more, might be less, but you'll get the idea. Accounting, for me, this is kind of a non-negotiable. You definitely want someone to make sure you're staying up on your taxes, and someone just to make sure those are being filed in a timely manner and kind of holding you accountable. You definitely don't want to get it behind in there. I sort of did, but they fortunately got them in time, and they helped me recover quickly. So accountant and payroll could be anywhere from $100 to $300 a month for kind of a smaller company, so we'll put $250. Utilities, electric, this would be, for your shop space or some other kind of permanent structure for your business. You may not have any of that. Maybe you could write off your internet. So we'll put $100 in there for that. Miscellaneous repairs, you kind of get a better miscellaneous, and then repairs are separate, but you kind of get a better idea of that as you get more years in business, but it's kind of a buffer. So I like to say maybe $200 in miscellaneous, whether that's office supplies, shop supplies, whatever it may be. Repairs and maintenance, similar. It's kind of something you just kind of guesstimate over the years. Sometimes you might have bigger repairs than other years, but it sort of balances out. But at least accounting for it in some manner helps. And you might want to adjust this as the years go on. But let's put $500 in there, whether that's oil changes, major repairs, all that stuff. You can see over a year that's $6,000, which maybe that's right on for 3 pieces of equipment. This business profit buffer I like to have in there, kind of just helps give yourself some extra cushioning when you're pricing things. So maybe when you're smaller, you might have it at $250, and then when you get bigger and maybe have a crew or two, you might amp it up a little bit. But we'll put in there $1,000, per month. So So after you all add all that up, this gives you your fixed overhead, at least that's what I call it. Your fixed overhead is $16,000 per month or $4,000 per week. And you can break that down to per day, and you can see here in parentheses it's 20 days per month, because some of you might not want to account for Saturday and Sunday. You might only want to work Monday through Friday, so you would really have a 20-day month, and that's $800 per day. Over here you can see the yearly price and then the per day price over 365 days. So again, that's counting everything, holidays, rain days, everything, which as seasonal and outdoor businesses, it's can't really do it that way. So, and you'll see these tabs over here: 15-day overhead, 20-day overhead, 25 and 30-day overhead. Don't mind these just yet, that's for later date. So I like to be in the 15 to 20-day overhead. We're here in Ohio, so our winter or outdoor season kind of slows down really around the end of November, early December, and it's a bit harder to work year round. Some of you might be in the 20-day overhead, which is 240 working days. So that's something you kind of have to figure out for yourself. Or, maybe you're able to switch from outdoor work to something inside and keep your guys busy. So you might want to go with the 20-day overhead. So after adding all that stuff up, these formulas are already in here that they will figure out what you should be charging per guy per hour. And we start off that with adding here, number of employees. And you'll see here this in yellow helps remind you, like, this is where you enter a different value. So we'll start off with, say, 2 employees. The total of their hourly pay, which might be, say, you got one guy at 18 and your better guy or your lead guy at, let's just do 20. So 20 and 18 makes it 38 for total. So now your average cost per employee is $67, factoring in the fixed overhead per hour, which that takes that number and breaks it up over the 2 employees plus their hourly pay. That's what that gets. And then if you get to that point where you're adding benefits, you can enter those in here, but most companies aren't at that point. So you can see right now your average cost per employee is $67. So if you can see how this gets manipulated. If you put 3, now the average cost is $44, but 3 people getting paid a combined wage of $38 per hour is not much and probably not worth a whole lot. So we'll move that back to 2 people. Average cost $67. If you want to, like I said, you can add benefits in there. Say $2 changes the average cost to $69. So here is your profit per hour table right here, this area. If you wanted a 10% profit margin, 20%, or 30%, this is what you would need to be charging per guy per hour. So a one work day of 8 hours, which would be 16 labor hours, you would want to charge $16 times 96 for 10%, or $105.16 for 20%. And then this here table is an additional. All right, so this table here is a kind of a frame of reference, I guess you could say. This shows you a breakdown of what labor costs. And this over here is the direct hourly pay. So $10 an hour, don't probably see too often anymore, but more in the lines of the 15 and up. So if you got a $15 an hour guy plus the average taxes that'll be added to that is about $2.90. If you got $2 in benefits added into that plus the fixed hourly overhead average, you're looking at a total cost per hour of about $67.90 for a $15 per hour guy. And you can see down here a $30 an hour crew member is closer to $86 per hour. So depending on which crew or which combination of crew members you might have on a job, you might want to adjust that accordingly. Or you can charge a blanket $105 per guy per hour. I say per guy, but per crew member per hour. Over here on the right, this is a smaller little individual calculator if you just want to figure out a price for an individual employee. So right here you can enter in their hourly, whether that's say $22.50, adds in the fixed hourly overhead, which is spread out out amongst the number of employees you have again, which you added over here, the 2. Benefits per hour if applicable. That gives you your average employee cost right there, and cost with payroll taxes, $76.58. Total cost of employees per working hour. $138. That's for both employees. So you can see how this can change if you did, say, 4 employees, all at $20 an hour, which gives you total hourly pay 80, average cost per employee $44 with benefits. You can change that back to 0. You can see here your 10% profit margin now is down to 57. And the reason that's so much different is because you didn't change any of this up here, and now this $16,000 per month is spread across 4 employees as opposed to 2, which helps you lower your cost per hour and be able to charge a more competitive price. So this spreadsheet, along with 2 other apps, is what helps replace what other companies charge $300 or more for. And the companies in mind that I've seen are, well, starts out at the low end, House Call Pro for $60 and up, Jobber $40 or more, LMN, which is Landscape Management Network, is $300 or more, and Synced Up, which is $400 or more. So these are probably really nice apps and are very convenient and most likely intuitive. I have some experience with LMN, and my old boss used to use Jobber, and these are definitely clean, crisp apps, but not necessary to pay this much per month, especially when you can replace it with a spreadsheet and 2 other free apps that work pretty easy together. So those other 2 apps I will talk about later, or maybe I'll add in the description. So if you'd like to get your hands on this free spreadsheet, the link is in my bio, and this will definitely change how you price your jobs and make sure you're charging accordingly for the amount of employees and equipment. Again, this updates automatically, so if you decide to buy a new truck, new skid steer, whatever it may be, you add that in here, and this will update and then spit out a new number, so you make sure that, like, oh, now I need to charge $2 more. Oh, now we can charge $4 less, or keep it the same, and our profit margin is going to increase X amount of percent. So yeah, you could use this for an entire company budget, or you could break this down into smaller segments and price this out per crew. So for an example, say it's a hardscape or installation crew. They might have a crew leader that's on salary for this amount of dollars, 2 crew members for an hourly wage. They get this machine, that machine, and X amount of dollars of the budget goes towards them. And you can kind of break it down that way and see what your per crew cost is. And it would help you determine, because your installation crew is going to be a higher overhead than, say, like a maintenance crew that's not using the same kind of equipment and is doing smaller projects. So you can kind of manipulate and change this around for whatever works best for you. In the next video, we'll cover this free app that expands on what these other companies offer for $300 a month. This is for free and does just about everything else that you would need from those said companies. As you can see here, this is some of my customers right now. And we'll get into this a little bit later, but this basically helps you stay organized and on top of your potential customers, make sure you're following up in a timely manner and keeping ahead of what you need to send as far as creating estimates, sending proposals, and then following up after that. So there's automations that can be put in place, and we can cover those lately more in depth, but that's just a little bit of what the next video will be about. So yeah, link in bio, check it out, and we'll see you on the next one.